Local adjustments with the inclusion of control points, which originated in the Nick collection, are one of the standout masking tools of DxO PhotoLab. But now, in PhotoLab 9, there's a new way to mask, using AI. What truly makes this special, though, is that you don't have to choose between AI masking and control point masking. You get both, and you can even combine the two. Check this out. I love this photo here, but I know we can make it better. I'm going to do all the work that I want to do in the masking tool. Here under masking or local adjustments, you have a variety of masking tools. Your standard brush, your auto brush, which is a brush with edge detection. Then you have a hue mask, a luminosity mask, a graduated filter, also known as a linear gradient, a control line, your original control point, and then your new AI masking tools. We'll save the AI masking for last. Let's start with the basic control point. The control point is an incredibly powerful tool that's been around for a really long time that allows you to select a very specific tonal range within the shape of a circle, like this. Right now it just looks like a big soft gradient, but if I switch this over from color overlay to the black and white mode, we can see a little bit more clearly what's being selected. First of all, I can change the size of this control point, but you can see that it selects outside of that range, so that circle is basically where it begins. If what I want to select here is primarily those green bushes overhanging the door, then I'm going to need to do a little bit of refinement here. I like to do this in the black and white mode because it makes it easier to see exactly what's being selected. Under the mask selectivity slider, I can contract or expand the range of chroma that is being selected. That's the color. So if I bring this up pretty high, we can see that we're only selecting that very dark green color in there. But I can refine it even more. By taking the luminance range and making that a little bit tighter, we can get it really, really narrow. Right about there looks pretty good. So now I'll go back to my color view and let's take the exposure and bring it up just a little bit. I just want to add a little bit of light into that overhang. I like that. Let's go ahead and name this the overhang so I know what I'm looking at later. Now let's work at the foreground. We can see that the ground here is a pretty strong shadow compared to the wall. And I want to lighten this up a little bit, but I also want to enhance these rocks, make them pop out a little bit more. I'll start by creating a new mask, and I'll go ahead and name this one Stones. And then I'm going to grab a control line and drag a linear gradient across the bottom here. Unlike a standard linear gradient, this linear gradient is controlled by this selection tool here, and I can position it anywhere I want. Once again, I'll switch over to the black and white view and start constraining that, because as we can see right now, it's selecting a lot. Let's drag the chroma up a little bit and the luma up a bit, and we can see how it's really starting to select just those stones. That's what I want, right about there. I can take the edge of the gradient and make that a little bit higher or lower, but I think right about there is what I want. Now let's go ahead and take the exposure up just a little bit. We don't want to brighten them too much or it won't look natural. And then I'm going to take the micro contrast and really crank that up. Let's get some texture in those. Awesome. Next, I want to enhance the color of this primary wall here. Let's call it a salmon color. That's the color that I want to bring up, make it a little bit brighter, a little bit more saturated. So to do that, I'm going to use the hue masking tool. Let's create another new mask here. We'll call it the salmon wall. Select the tool and just click on that color. Again, we can see that it's selected a bit too much here, so I'll restrict that. Once again, I'm going to go to the black and white view, and the way you restrict the color range is with these color sliders here. If I grab this arrow and I drag it out, you'll see that we're selecting a broader range of colors, and if I bring it down, we're restricting it. Now, unfortunately, because there's so much color in here that is very similar to the color on the wall, I'm not able to really precisely grab just this region here. So I'm going to combine this with a basic brush tool and brush away some of the other parts that have been selected. So with the brush tool selected and my salmon wall mask still selected as well, I'll go down here and take my brush size and make it a little bit bigger, and may as well take that feathering down. I'm going to be getting rid of a lot of this image here, bring the opacity all the way up, and I'll make sure that I have my negative brush or the eraser selected, and then I'll just start brushing away. So just like that, I can now remove parts of the mask that were created earlier. This top area here, I want to soften out a little bit, so I'll take my feathering, crank that up, make the size a little bit smaller, and let's just go in here and brush that away gently. All right, looking pretty good. Let's go ahead back to our color view, and let's take the saturation and bring that up a bit. Nice. So now you can see we've brought that salmon color up beautifully. Finally, let's use an AI mask. I'll create another new mask and grab the AI masking tool. And at first, as I drag the mouse over the screen, you can see that I can easily select just about any portion of the image. It's really quite remarkable as you roll the mouse around to see what you can select. And as you move around a single object, you'll see that you can select different portions of it. So sometimes it's just a case of finding just the right area to click to select the part that you want. I want to enhance the door. I want to make it a little bit brighter than it already is, making it just a little bit more welcoming. So I click to select it, and it selects the door there. Now I'll go ahead and take my exposure tool and drag that up a little bit, and we'll brighten the door. And that's all there is to it. Now it looks like we did get a little bit of spill. An area up here has gotten selected, so let's just zoom in a little bit closer, pan over, and we can see that we are getting just a little bit up there in that corner. If I bring the exposure up a little bit more, you can see it a bit more clearly. So we don't want that. So what I'll do is, still using the AI masking tools, I'll switch this over to the negative or deselect tool, and then I'll go in and say, make sure you don't select that, and make sure you don't select that, and make sure you don't select that as well. And now I've got a cleaner mask for the area that I want. Let's zoom back out, close our masking tools, and do a quick before and after. There's the new version, and there's the original. Quite a remarkable difference. Masking is what gives you the ultimate control over your image. And now with PhotoLab 9's AI tools added to the already amazing control point masks, you now get the best of both worlds, and only in PhotoLab 9.